Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Chaz Christopher. I'm so glad you're here. So we had a wonderful suggestion from Christian about what we learned from the road trip and what was our favorite place that we visited. So today, myself, Devon, and Tarl are gonna sit down and tell you just that. So sit back, relax, and let's get going. Okay, so Christian's question was, what was our favorite part of the road trip and what did we learn? My absolute favorite city was St. Louis. I think why it was so good for me was, one, we actually got to kind of like shed our jackets there and wear lighter jackets, and that made a huge deal given the rest of our trip. But two, the night that we got there, we got to go walk in the park that surrounds the big arch. And at that time, there was nobody there. We had the park to ourselves. We got to walk up to the arch, sit under the arch, look up at the stars. And that was really cool because the arch is so ginormous, and laying under it and seeing the Milky Way above it kind of made you feel really small and kind of remind you of your place. Now, I will say that the downtown was also really neat. They do a great job of mixing old and new, and there's parks spread out through the whole downtown, and I loved that as well. If you've watched the videos, you see that I love parks. I love where anytime you can walk somewhere in the city makes it really easy for you. That's the city I like. And because of that, I actually really liked Columbus a lot too, and it's another city I'd like to explore more of. But I think because St. Louis had such a vivid memory of laying under the arch while having that whole park to ourselves, having the arch to ourselves, just made it extra special and memorable. Now, I love traveling because I feel like every place you go, it adds to your repertoire of understanding of the world that you're in. You're able to connect with people better, you're able to understand yourself better because you see, okay, I came from Texas and these are some of the traditions I had. I think just broadens you as a person and makes you more evolved. It's always been something that I wish America was better at, was having trains or cheaper plane tickets so that all the states could come together and learn from each other. I think here, part of the reason why we're kind of divided is it's not very easy to live in Texas and see Ohio or see New York. It's kind of pricey. It's not like Europe where you can easily fly for cheap. And like I said earlier, each time you get to go to a new state, you get to learn your country better, you get to meet new people, see their ways of living. One thing actually that really surprised me, by the way, one was there was a metropolis, Illinois, did not know that. And two, Kentucky is actually way prettier than I ever gave it credit for. Well, peace and love. Now it's gonna be on to Devon.
What was my favorite place on the trip? That's tough. So many great places we went to. Probably Little Rock, a little bit biased. I got to play the piano, which is, really what I was searching for on the trip. We had talked about it before we had left, how we were going to hopefully come across some piano for me to play, and then it finally happened like day 8, day 7, whatever it was, in Little Rock. I got to play the piano in Little Rock, so that was super exciting for me. And throughout the trip after that, I kept running into pianos that I was trying to play, trying to record and capture something on the piano. It's like I play piano across the country. Flint, Texas was really cool actually too. Probably tied with Little Rock for completely different reasons. Flint it was such a dream, It's almost like it didn't even happen. It feels so far away now. Spending time with Tarl's family out in the middle of nowhere, basically, out in the wilderness. It was so relaxing, so serene, so peaceful, especially just coming from New York and doing the whole road trip. You can imagine how stressful that was. Flint it was crazy. It was a really cool experience. It was a really great moment, as Chaz said in the video, to decompress and kind of, unwind from all the tension that had built up. What did I learn? What did I learn? I learned that I can bust out a piano riff on the spot. Don't know if I learned much. I learned about, the different places that I went to as we traveled across. I basically got a history lesson from Chaz because he's a walking textbook on every single city and monument that we came across. Basically got a little history lesson. So all of those little tidbits. Couldn't tell you what he told me, but I know he was telling me stuff. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys so much. The support means a lot, seriously, especially with the help with Marvel. You guys' help with the channel, the consistent followers, the people who have been there since day one. We really appreciate you. It's been such a journey. We have a long journey to go. Stay tuned, stick it out with us, and please keep commenting suggestions down below. Interact with us, especially with Chaz. He loves interacting with you guys. Yeah, love you.
So let me spill a little tea first. Building up to us leaving was like a 3-day conniption of just like packing and organizing and coordinating. And so day 1 was good, Cleveland, we hit it hard, it was fun. The second day was Columbus, and that night I lost my shit. Just like the stress and the enormity of everything just kind of hit me. I blew up on Devon. I wanted nothing to do with anyone for the rest of the evening. And then, so the next day, the rest of Columbus work calls. So then when we woke up in Columbus the next morning, I was still kind of in my feelings and not being the most sociable. We spent the day there, went to Indianapolis that night. By Indianapolis that night and the day before, it all kind of worked out. We reconfigured ourselves as a group, and so when we got to St. Louis that evening, it was just amazing. We were all getting along, the dogs were happy, and we got to St. Louis. It was already nighttime. We were so close to the Arch, and I think what made St. Louis my favorite city and my favorite day, probably that evening, although St. Louis the next morning was just as beautiful, but it was also my first time seeing the stars, or at least that many stars, in quite a while. Coming from New York, you don't get to see that many stars, and so we were underneath the arch and I could see the stars, and I was taking pictures, and it was a beautiful city. It wasn't a lot of work to get around. So yeah, St. Louis was probably my favorite city, and the rest of the trip was great from there too. I got to see family, which was great for me. I'm glad that the boys enjoyed being in Tyler, Texas with my family. I think because we finally all got to decompress, but it was my family, so of course I was enjoying myself. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Toodles!
So I wanted to take a moment to shout out somebody else here on YouTube. His name is Michael. He puts out lots of inspirational videos for everyone. And recently, he actually shouted myself, Tarl, Devon, Clark, and Marvel out on his channel. And it was an incredibly cool video. He talked about some of his favorite LGBTQ YouTubers, and we were honored to be on his list. I'm gonna link that video in his channel down below. Go check him out. He's doing some really cool stuff, and we are really appreciative for the shout out and for all that he has. And as always, you do you, we'll do us, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye everybody. Please comment, please subscribe, blah, 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 blah.
Have a great day. Have a great fucking day.
But
I cussed because I know we're not gonna put it in there, just so you guys know.